think I was just so fascinated by the history. I couldn't believe A, that this had really happened, and B, how little was known about it. I'd never studied it in history, and I think also just Lena, her bravery, wonderful director, amazing co-star. Daniel Bruhl was attached at that point, and I loved his performances and thought he was a wonderful actor. So all of that sort of together made it seem like something that just I had to do. One of the reasons was that I was still in full-time education until about 2 years ago, so often I would take on ensemble roles because I could sort of fit that in between being at university or being at school or whatever else, and so Colonia is one of the first roles that I took on as a postgraduate. So yeah, it was wonderful to be able to really focus on that full-time, and yeah, I'm really pleased with it. I knew nothing before my agent sent me the script. I knew nothing, and I think that's what got me so hooked. Was that the minute I finished it, I was like reading and Googling and reading the Wikipedia page and trying to find out as much as I could, because I couldn't believe that it was a real thing. I think he just loved and is so fascinated by this material. He spent 5 years researching. He sort of knows incredibly well a lot of the members of the colony, and you could tell he really cared about the material and the integrity of the material, and I think that really convinced me. Well, what was special for me was, as we've talked about before, the material is pretty heavy, it's pretty dark, and to have someone that I could kind of have a laugh with, that I could kind of share that with, was really important, and I think we had good chemistry from the beginning, and that just really clicked, and so it just felt like a really good match. I was fascinated by how brave she is, and I just kind of, you would hope that in Lena's shoes you would do the same thing that she does, but you wonder, you go, wow, would I be brave enough to do that? And I kind of loved her for that. It's an interesting question, because obviously I gave a very political speech, and then I worked on a very political film, and I'm sure they probably are linked. It was more subconscious for me, I think. I wasn't thinking to myself, oh, I specifically only want to do a political film. It just so happened that Florian sent me that script and this part and whatever else, but I'm sure they are linked, if not consciously. I guess I'm always trying to find a balance in things a little bit, and I'm very fortunate that I get to do my UN work, and then I get to make a film, and I've taken time to study, and I travel, and I try to be a well-rounded human, and I think that makes me really happy, and I'm also just incredibly fortunate to get to do what I love, which I think is one of the greatest gifts in life, which is to do something that you care about and you're passionate about, and that makes me very happy too.